Morning, lovelies. I thought I'd just come and make a video. Haven't kind of been on here for a week, so I thought I'd come and say hi. I wanted to talk about something which I feel is being experienced by a lot of us right now, so I guess it's a collective thing. Well, I know it is because the information that I wanted to share was kind of off the back of a Lee Harris forecast for July, which I listened to this week. And he used an expression that I really liked, which was that a lot of people are going to be experiencing a forced pause, which I found really interesting, and that is definitely happening to me. And I feel like there's a number of reasons for that. This is the first time ever that I haven't had a fully booked month in my diary, which is okay. You know, this is my only source of income, but I trust the universe and I know that it's all happening for a reason, blah, blah, blah. But obviously my channeled messages, that's a piece of work that I've been really cool to do, which wasn't on my agenda at all. It wasn't something that I was looking to offer as a service, but it's happened, and it definitely feels needed. And I wanted to talk about the kind of things that I'm being asked to channel about. And this is also what I feel is associated with the forced pause that we're experiencing. I know lots of people are having a quiet month. I know lots of people are coming off social media at the moment. And what's been asked in my channeled messages is information about whether people are doing the right thing at the moment. Are they on the right path with their business is a big question that I'm being asked a lot. And I feel like that's coming from this forced pause experience where perhaps we're not getting the level of clients that we have been used to getting. And I feel like what happens is then we start to question whether we need to do things differently, whether we need to be offering something, whether we need to change our prices, whether we need to look at our advertising, all of that stuff that's involved in running a wellness business. And what's interesting for me is that it comes down to, obviously I offer the channeled messages, I offer the information that people need. They're very specific. I get a lot of information from these guides about helping people to understand how to move forwards, what the future looks like. Because like I said to my guides last night, do you see the past, present and the future? And they're like, yeah. And I said, so can you see lives beyond this life? And they said, yes. And I said, is that something you can share with me? And they're like, no. And I said, why can't you share future lives with me? And they said that it would upset the mechanics of cause and effect, which I found interesting, but that's a little bit off topic. So yes, as far as the future is concerned, that's what I'm getting asked about a lot. And it's really interesting because I feel like in these moments of pause, what we perhaps do instead of taking the opportunity to do self-reflection is that we're not always kind with ourselves. And instead of doing self-reflection, we start to question ourselves. We question whether what we're doing is right. And again, this comes back to the subject of the internal guidance system, which is something I talk about a lot, which is basically feelings. And what I sense is that when people are put into a position that they haven't asked to be put into, then it starts to make them question themselves instead of perhaps moving into a space of, okay, this is happening and I'm okay with it and I can benefit from it and I can find a way to use this time. And it's interesting because with this quiet month, what I've noticed is that it's come about for me when there's been a lot of big personal things happening in my life. And I know we're meant to be authentic on here, and we're meant to share everything, but I can't particularly share these personal things because they involve other people, and that would be unfair, and I can't share those people's lives. But what I can say is that the things that are coming up for the people around me are massive. They are life and death situations, just literally life and death. And what this pause has given me is the opportunity to not only be around to support these people, it's also given me the time to reflect on what it's all about, which I know is a really big question. You know, why are we here? What's it all about? And apart from the lesson things, you know, on an everyday basis, we can go into, what is this all about? What am I meant to be doing? Am I doing the right thing? And so for me, I'm seeing this pause as being something that was offered to me in this moment, because it gave me the opportunity to be able to not only support the people around me, but to also understand and to feel into and to reflect more on my life and what's important in my life, and what the priority relationships are, and, you know, what those relationships are and what they mean to me, and how they have space in my life and why they have space in my life. And I suppose what this pause has brought up for me is having perspective on the relationships which are important, and the things in my life which are important, and, you know, what I'm able to offer in the way of support, how I offer that, whether it's work or whether it's in a friendship. And so I suppose what I'm really sharing is that when these forced pauses come along, perhaps instead of us questioning whether it's happening because we're not doing something right, how about if we see the forced pause as an opportunity to look at all the things that we need to, and know that we are concentrating on the right things. And perhaps, you know, the little arguments that take place, the little things that happen, you know, do we give them priority when perhaps we shouldn't? So yeah, it's been a really kind of very deep week for me. Not that they don't come along on a regular basis. And I just wanted to say that, you know, anyone out there who is experiencing this forced pause and is questioning whether what they're doing is right, and, you know, how do they see their futures, you have got this stuff available to you. You know, you can work this stuff out for yourself. Of course, I'm here to offer guidance. Of course, I'm here to offer my channeled messages. But, you know, don't feel that that's the only way. Also feel into the idea that you can source your own guidance through understanding yourself and looking at what your needs are, and looking at where your life is now. The relationships, the friendships, the work, the time and the space that you spend doing things, and just kind of, I suppose, I know it's tough when you're running a business, but I suppose just take the opportunity to do that inner work that we often don't get time to do as in depth as we'd like to when we're serving others. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that you are all okay, and I, you know, really understand that this forced pause isn't going to be infinite, and that it is a temporary thing, and that I hope that you are all navigating it and that you are well. So I'm sending you lots of love.